So today we're diving into L'Automne Hérimont, which is really the story of a man who wakes up to his own life. The question is, was it far too late? Or maybe, just maybe, was it right on time? Let's get into it.
This right here, this is the gut punch realization that hits our main character, Monsieur Edmond Hérimont. Imagine, you get to your 55th birthday, and it suddenly dawns on you that your entire existence has been a kind of phantom life. Just a series of motions with no real feeling behind them. And that crisis is what kicks off this whole incredible journey.
You can think of Edmond as a sleepwalker. His life is just this predictable, gray routine. But a single, unexpected package from Paris is about to be a cannon blast, waking him up to a past he never, ever knew existed and a future he never dreamed was possible.
So let's start with part one, a life without living. Because to really get the scale of Edmond's transformation, we first have to understand the hollow world he comes from, this meticulously built but totally empty existence.
Just try to imagine it. You spend more than 30 years of your life drafting contracts, witnessing signatures, doing everything by the book, only to retire and realize that none of it left a single mark. Not on the world, and definitely not on you. He doesn't retire because he's sick. He retires from this profound, crushing sense of emptiness. And this bourgeois world he's in, it's basically his prison. It's a world that cares more about order and reputation than anything else. Passion, spontaneity, those things are seen as dangerous, disruptive. And Edmond, well, he is the perfect product of this system, a man who traded any chance at a real, authentic life for respectability.
Okay, so that's the setup. Now for the bombshell. Section 2, Letters from a Ghost. A package shows up, and with it comes a voice from a past Edmond thought he knew everything about, the voice of his wife, Hortense, who's been dead for 7 years. This package comes completely out of the blue. It's from Paris, a city full of life and passion that he turned his back on long ago. And it's addressed to him, a man who pretty much believes he has no real connections left in the world. The mystery starts the second it lands in his hands.
He opens it, and inside he finds this little wooden box. And inside that is a bundle of letters, all tied up with a faded blue ribbon. He recognizes the handwriting. They belong to his late wife. But why are they being sent to him now? And who sent them? There's no return address.
The moment Edmond starts to read, the words they practically leap off the page. This is not about grocery lists or social calls. This is a letter that is burning with a passion so intense, it feels like it belongs to a completely different person, not the quiet, dutiful wife he thought he knew.
And here it is, the shattering truth. For 3 whole years, his wife, his plain, predictable Hortense, was having a secret, fiery love affair with one of the most famous writers in all of France. His entire reality, every single memory of their life together, just crumbles in one single night of reading.
So, Section 3, a journey into the past. This kind of revelation doesn't just break a person. It completely remakes them. He has to have answers, and so he travels to the only place he can find them, Paris. He's just driven by this desperate need to understand the woman he was married to for 23 years. His search leads him to a woman named Marguerite Duval. Turns out she was a friend of Hortense's lover, and she's the one who sent the letters. She holds the key to the whole story.
And Marguerite, she does not soften the blow. She just gives Edmond the unvarnished truth. Hortense's life with him was one of containment, like a cage of duty and small-town expectations. Her lover didn't just offer her passion, he offered her the idea that another way of living was even possible. And we learn this wasn't just some fleeting dalliance. No, this was a deep, serious relationship that went on for 3 years. And in a really painful twist, it was Hortense herself who chose to end it. She sacrificed her own happiness out of a sense of duty to the very family, the very life that was suffocating her.
Which brings us to Section 4, Learning How to See. This journey into his wife's past ignites this incredible change within Edmond himself. It starts a 2-year transformation from a man who lived his whole life in blindness to one who finally learns to open his eyes.
I mean, just look at this contrast. The old Edmond was a notary who used his routine like a prison wall to keep real life out. The new Edmond becomes a writer, and he uses that exact same routine not as a prison, but as a structure to actually experience life within. He's not hiding from the world anymore, he's engaging with it.
And, this change didn't happen overnight. His awakening is a process. It takes 2 full years, starting with that initial shock, moving on to his investigation in Paris, and then, and this is the crucial part, moving on to creation. He starts writing, not for anyone else, but for himself, as a way to make sense of all this pain and turn it into something like understanding.
A really key part of his transformation is that he becomes what the French call a flâneur. It sounds fancy, but the idea is simple. He stops being the rigid notary with a destination and becomes an idle stroller. For the first time in his life, he isn't just walking from point A to point B. He's actually watching and listening and absorbing the life of the city all around him. He's learning to see.
And here's where we see the most profound shift of all. His initial shock and his shame, they don't curdle into bitterness or resentment. Instead, he finds himself just in awe of this woman he never really knew. He's not angry about her betrayal. He's completely amazed that she was capable of such a powerful, vital love.
And finally, Section 5. The ending is a beginning. Because Edmond's awakening doesn't just save his own life, it totally transforms his relationships. He turns this painful, buried secret into a legacy of truth and healing.
He does something incredibly courageous. He sits down with his estranged daughter, Mathilde, and he tells her everything. He fully expects the truth to just shatter her image of her mother, but it does the opposite. It opens a door. Learning about the real Hortense, this passionate, complicated woman, it allows Mathilde to finally see her parents as actual people. And it forges this new, honest bond between them. It's actually Mathilde who defines the story's real conclusion. It's not about blame. It's not about betrayal. The real ending is them achieving something they never could when Hortense was alive: genuine communication, empathy, and forgiveness that comes from real understanding. So in the end, it was Hortense's secret love affair that became the catalyst for Edmond's own life. Her hidden passion is what taught him how to live with his eyes wide open. He finds his redemption, his peace, not by trying to forget the painful past, but by embracing it and turning it into wisdom. And this all leads us to the central, burning question that the story just leaves hanging in the air. Was this awakening worth all those decades of sleep? Is a brief, intense period of truly living worth an entire lifetime spent in a comfortable slumber? It's a question that really forces you to look at your own life and ask, am I truly awake?